This is the Country Vinyl Tag 2021. I don't think there's ever been a country vinyl tag. Another fat, bearded man talking about records. That's Headley. That's his handle of his channel, name of his channel. And I will put a link below. If you're into roots music, country music, folk music, American, UK, worldly, you need to subscribe to his channel. We did a collaboration last year, I believe, about UK folk, late 60s UK folk, and it was a fabulous conversation. He knows more than pretty much almost anyone I know. And he started this thread, enough of the jazz shit, enough of the rock and roll stuff, roots music. And I'm so glad he started this thread. So I hope people jump on board. Please look at the link below. If you're into roots music, if you're into country, bluegrass, old-timey, and you can have fun with this, and it doesn't have to be an exact. He, in fact, watch his video because he says have fun with it and improvise. And you know how I improvise if you have been watching my channel. So Headley, thanks for starting this thread. Any time to bring me to country music. Those of you who watch me, I'm into all different genres, a lot of different genres. So, I like to mix it up. So I think it's really good to open things up. And if you're not into this music, maybe watch this and you might be introduced to some things. So, okay. The oldest country record you own, either the date of the release or recording. And of course, just because I picked three, this is a comp. And this is Mother Maybelle Carter of the infamous Carter family. Most of you maybe who aren't into country music probably know June Carter, who was married to Johnny Cash. Well, this is her mother. This is the comp recorded in, I think, mostly the 60s, I believe. Great auto harp, country singer, player, just in a way the mother of it all, of modern country music, I'd say. A beautiful comp on Columbia Records. This is a 70s pressing that I picked up during my record store days when my buddy Vernon, my late good friend Vernon, who hired me, was really into roots music and really kind of turned me on to a lot of this stuff. So I want to thank him. The other two, this is probably the oldest. This is, I believe, recordings literally from the 30s. This is Les Paul and his trio, After You've Gone. 20s, 30s, or 30s, 40s, I believe, maybe 40s. This was a record store day, I believe, in 2016. Really great recording. Obviously older recordings, but it sounds fabulous. It's a great trio. Those of you, maybe if you don't know country music and don't know about Les Paul, you certainly know his name from the Gibson, from the guitar, Les Paul. He basically invented multi-track recording, fabulous guitar playing. And it's not straight country, it's jazzy country stomping music, and it's fabulous, very jazzy as well, a mix of that. So Les Paul and his trio recorded in mono. And the third of these I want to show is Bob Wills' special, Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. This is, I think, 1957 recording, and I think this is his first record. I'm a big fan of Bob Wills, a big fan of country swing, which is a hybrid of country music and jazz, and just beautiful stuff. This is a fabulous record. It was on Harmony Records. So there you go. Second question, newest country record in your collection, a new release or a new acquisition? Well, this is both, a new release and a new acquisition, and oh my God, still putting out amazing records. Loretta Lynn, like the queen. She is like the reigning queen. I mean, Dolly Parton's on slightly the next generation, but great record. This is co-produced by Patsy Lynn Russell and John Carter Cash. Of course, John Carter Cash is the son of Johnny Cash. She's done like 3 great records over the last, 8 years or so. One actually really wonderful, produced by Jack White. That was it on Third Man Records? Anyway, he produced it. It was a fabulous record. She sounds amazing. This is a fabulous record. It's called Still Woman Enough. There you go. You know she means it. A record you own on a country music label. This is a small, independent, like folk, rootsy, country, hybrid label. I'm not sure if this is the last release he put out, but one of his last records so far. David Bromberg Band. I love this guy. I've been seeing him perform since the 70s. His first album on Columbia. Actually, George Harrison was on the opening cut called The Hold Up, which is kind of a fun song. He played with Dylan. He's a great string instrument player. The last time I saw him was about 8-9 years ago, performing at the Fillmore in San Francisco with Jorma Kakkonen of Hot Tuna and Airplane fame opening up, and it was incredible. So this is on Red House Records, and it's a fun record, really good record. He plays electric, he plays acoustic. Just an amazing, amazing player. He did an amazing, I think he toured with Jerry Jeff Walker for years also. And he was on a lot of Dylan albums, a number of Dylan albums. And he plays an amazing, I think on that first album possibly, amazing long version of Mr. Bojangles, Jerry Jeff Walker song, with a whole story of Jerry Jeff writing that song, which is just fabulous. Okay, the next question is an international country record. This was a hard one for me, and I had to think out of the box a little bit. International country record, anywhere other than the US. Well, it's the singer, it's the artist from the United Kingdom. However, it was recorded in Nashville with some of the top Nashville musicians of the day. And because you're watching my channel, I include it because there's a Beatles connection. Ringo Starr, Buku's of Blues. His second solo album, produced by Pete Drake. Scotty Moore engineered this. I mean, you got Buddy Harman, Charlie Daniels, Dave Kirby, the Jordanaires, the four Jordanaires who backed Elvis Presley singing, Charlie McCoy, Sorrel Spicard, God, all these other people, J.D. Fontana, Ben Keith, Pete Drake, on and on and on, Jerry Reed, oh my God. I mean, there's most of them. This is a fantastic record. I wish Ringo would stop trying to make pop records now at 80 years old and go back and make a friggin' country record, because this is fabulous. Has a great sound. And also for the international, this is an original UK copy. Buku's of Blues, UK copy, original international country from Liverpool to Nashville. Come on, that counts, doesn't it? A bluegrass record or an old string band or old-timey record you own. I have lots of albums of Flatt and Scruggs, and one of the premier, obviously Bill Monroe would have been sort of the father of bluegrass, but I just wanted to show this comp. I don't have any Bill Monroe on vinyl. I do have a box set on compact disc, and I kind of wanted to stick with vinyl. I know the vinyl tag gets loose, and we can show whatever we want musically. This is a great collection if you're not into bluegrass music. A lot of people of my generation maybe got turned on to Flatt and Scruggs because of two specific things. Or, well, I would say originally the theme song for the Beverly Hillbillies, Black Gold, Texas Tea. Great song. The ballad of Jed Clampett. Is that not even on here? I don't think it is. But also Foggy Mountain Breakdown, which their music was featured in Bonnie and Clyde in 1968. And it was a big part of that film. Really great stuff. So The World of Flatt and Scruggs, an amazing comp on Columbia Records, 2-record set. And again, this is a copy I picked up in the 1970s. A record from an artist you have the largest collection of. I think like a lot of people into country music, at least of sort of our generation, I think Johnny Cash tends to be that person. I do have many Johnny Cash records, all the Columbia stuff, not all of them, obviously. On CD, I actually have the box set that has the entire Johnny Cash Columbia collection on mini LP cardboard sleeves. I love this because this is a Ring of Fire, the best of Johnny Cash. This is a 60s comp, and I just love that cover. If you look close, it's kind of almost like psychedelic in a way. Ring of Fire is one of the best songs that he ever recorded, and that was written by June Carter. Fantastic song, almost like a psychedelic country song. Just I Fell Into a Burning Ring of Fire, Fell Down, Down, Down. It's been covered by rock artists as well. Great album. But I have all his American albums, the American from Rick Rubin produced, his revitalization. So Johnny Cash, I have most of any country artist in my collection. A live country record you own. I just did a live single album video, so depending on how you're stumbling across this video, go check that out. I did include Merle Haggard, Okie from Muskogee, which is live. I did include the Johnny Cash Prison albums, but I want to do something a little different. So I love, this is a beautiful album. This is Emmylou Harris at the Ryman Theater. So it's Emmylou Harris and the Nash Ramblers. Beautiful record. Originally this came out on CD. This is a double vinyl album that came out some years later. And it's a great record on Non-Such Records. Emmylou Harris, one of the golden voices of modern country music, in my opinion. Of course, now we're even more modern, and there's other people which will come along a little later. So I guess she's not so modern since she came out in the 70s. Okay, a country box set or collection. I was going to show the big Johnny Cash box set, American Unearthed, but instead I just went with a comp. Actually, two comps. One's a box set, one's a comp, but OK Records was an offshoot jazz and country label. This is Western Swing. It's a great comp. You can probably find this in the used bin. That's put out by CBS in 1982. And of course, it has artists like Bob Wills and Texas Playboys, the Son of the Pioneers, a lot of these great Sons of the West, cowboy Western swing music. And it's a really great comp, has some great information. And along with that, this is another record I got in the 70s. This is Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys for the Last Time. This is sort of a reunion Last Time album when he plays. This is recorded in 1973. He plays with Johnny Gimbel, Al Strickland, Leon McAuliffe. Really great record. And the guest singers are Leon Rausch, Merle Haggard, Jody Nix, several other people too. Maybe a lot of people you haven't heard, but this is a double album with a booklet, and it was on United Artists Records, and it's kind of a cool collection of the twilight years of Bob Wills in 1974, the sort of the end of things. A country duet record. Well, you know, a lot of great country duets, but I could not resist to go with Porter Wagoner and Dolly Parton. This is just the two of us. If you don't know Porter Wagoner, you certainly know his haircut. There's a famous picture around of Porter Wagoner with that, was it Pompadour, with Paul and Linda McCartney. And it's just, was Dolly Parton in the picture? I can't remember. Fantastic photograph. So Google it and search for it. On his TV show, he had a TV show, and he basically introduced to the world Dolly Parton, gave her start. And also a CD comp, The Rubber Room by Porter Wagoner. Hysterical. And every song is classic song about drunk, disorderly violence. I mean, country music. See, it's not what you think it is, maybe, those of you who don't follow it. A country record you would recommend to someone new to country. There's a whole new, this record could be the answer to several questions here, but I'm including this one here. This is The Harrow and the Harvest by Gillian Welch. This is an audiophile's dream, beautiful. Now, this could also be my favorite country cover, but I picked something else just because. But this is probably really it, but I'm using this for introduction because this is sort of new country, Americana, folk country. David Rawlings and Gillian Welch have a great series of albums. They all sound fantastic. It could also be for an independent label, their own label, Econi Publishing. Beautiful record, and I highly recommend any of these reissues. Incredible sounding record. So if you're not into country, going in sort of the new country folk is probably a nice hybrid, a nice way to get into this kind of music. Americana, and it's wonderful. She's one of many of the vocalists who was on Oh Brother, Where Art Thou soundtrack as well. In fact, that would be, I don't have that on vinyl, but that would be a good introduction also. And I think it was for a lot of people, that soundtrack to that Coen Brothers movie. Okay, a favorite country album cover. Well, that Gillian Wells certainly is probably the one. But something about this Johnny Cash record, his debut Rick Rubin produced album that just launched him and revitalized his career. The Man in Black, this religious kind of icon, is an amazing, amazing photograph. American Recordings, incredible cover. I love just how simple the type is, the beautiful black and white sepia toned image with the two dogs at his feet on either side of him. Incredible cover. I mean, all these covers just have a great graphic quality in my book. A country 7-inch or 10-inch record. I'm going with this 10-inch. This is a reissue, but this is Charlie Feathers. He's sort of bluegrass, hillbilly music, guitar player, rockabilly, really a crossover hybrid of this stuff. This is a beautiful thing. I think this is recorded in 1957, and this is a reissue on Sunday's Record. Really great rockabilly stuff, fusion. Wonderful 10-inch, Charlie Feathers. A record released by a small independent or private label. I'm going back to the 70s again, and Tacoma Records was, I believe, John Fahey, new experimental guitar player. Leo Kottke was on his label, with Robbie Basho maybe, that whole kind of progressive, what do you call it, freak guitar stuff. But this is a record I see in the bins, and I find that most people pass it up. It's an incredible record. Again, my friend Vernon used to play this in the store in the 70s. He turned me on to it, Mike Aldridge Dobro. And that's exactly what it is, instrumental dobro music. Incredible record, gorgeous record. He's a great player on Tacoma Records. This came out, I believe, in 1972 originally. It's Tacoma/Devi Records out of Santa Monica, California. Long gone, but if you see this record in the bin, I strongly suggest you, if you like acoustic music, if you like instrumental music, if you like roots music, this is an incredible record on an independent label. But I see this out a lot. Every time we used to play this record in the store, we'd sell several copies. It's one of those kind of records. Okay, a country grail. This is not a hard record to find, and I never really had a grail, but this is amongst my all-time favorite country records, so I must show it. And this is Gary Stewart, Out of Hand, the late Gary Stewart. This is honky-tonk cowboy music, country music. It's an incredible record. It's Out of Hand. It opens up with a song called Drinking Thing, but the song that opens side 2 is a song that just, it's just an hysterical, it's like the epitome perfect country song. She's acting single, I'm drinking doubles. And it's got that, his voice, his tenor is just, is wonderful country, is beautiful country in a way. He just, it's twangy. There's this great Telecaster twangy guitar picking on this. This is on RCA Records from 1975. The guitar, Gary Stewart. Let's see, does he play the lead on here? Reggie Young probably is probably playing that. Charlie McCoy plays harmonica on here. I mean, it's a who's who of sort of Nashville performers, RC of the day. Fantastic record. One of my all-time favorite country records. A grail. I don't think it's really hard to find or expensive, but it's an incredible record. And I almost thought about this as turning people onto it. It might be too country for some people, but it's an incredible record. So Gary Stewart, Out of My Mind. Out of Hand, excuse me. I'm out of my, the next 2 records are gonna kind of be out of my mind in this psychedelic way, in a way, or country psych or psychobilly or whatever you want to call it. I'm showing two. This is an alt country or country rock record you own. Now, I could have gone with the Graham Parsons and the Byrds and all the, the typical country rock records and the Eagles and Poco and all that stuff. But there's two modern-ish country rock records in the last 5-6 years or so. To me, that are really good companion records because they're this sort of psychedelic country, a little bit. One is Sturgill Simpson's Metamodern Sounds in Country Music. If you don't have any Sturgill, this is the one. Of course, he's got these new grass records out covering his stuff, Bluegrass. But if you want something really off-kilter out of all his records, this is the one to get. It's High Top Mountain 30 Tigers Records, High Top Mountain Records. I think it was semi-independent. I don't know the story about the label, but there's a certain surrealism, there's a certain psychedelic country about this record. It's incredible. And I mean, you can tell it's space cowboy music in a way. And as a companion piece, this Marty Stewart. Now, Marty Stewart as a young boy played with the Earl Scruggs band. Incredible on the Telecaster guitar. Incredible. This is a psychedelic country record. This is Way Out West, Marty Stewart and his fabulous superlatives. This is produced by Mike Campbell. Mike Campbell, famous of the Tom Petty's Heartbreakers. This is an incredible record. Really an amazing record. I mean, just look at this. Look at this. Now, he owns the guitar, the Telecaster, that Clarence White, the great guitar player, played with the Byrds, and early when he was young, Kentucky Colonels, where they put this special modification device, the B-bender, on it. And he bought the guitar from Clarence's wife after Clarence passed away. And the way I've seen him live, if you ever get a chance when they come back to see these guys live, it's fucking amazing. If you're a rock and roll person and you watch them play guitar, it's amazing. The biggest loss, or the biggest miss I did several years ago, there was a 50th anniversary of Sweetheart of the Rodeo tour, the Byrds with Chris Hillman, Roger McGuinn, and this band backed them up and what was on tour, them covering the entire Byrds album. And of course, he played that Clarence White B-bender on that album, and they didn't come up north here. And I would have, if I had a ticket and I had a plane ticket, then I would have gone to see them, and I should have gone to see them in LA. But these are two incredible psychedelic country psych records. Amazing records, amazing playing, and very different. This could be an introduction for people in rock and roll who want to try some kind of country there. Okay, a country record from a country subgenre. Well, I don't know how subgenre this is, but these two records seem to go together for me. One is this fabulous record of Tennessee Ernie Ford. Of course, Tennessee Ernie Ford sang country music, but he had this deep baritone voice. He had gospel sense, of religious sense. So it's sort of gospel country in a way, some of his stuff. This is Country Hits Feelin' Blue. Trio, beautiful sounding record. I think there's a recent audio file pressing this, which I keep considering getting, but this sounds so great already. And I found this in Shrink, and it's incredible. He's in a lot of spiritual records, so it's spiritual country. The other one is a record you can get cheap, and this is a fantastic record. It sounds great. 2i Columbia. Big Bad John was a huge hit, and yes, that is that Jimmy Dean, pure pork sausage fame. But he was singing these songs. This is a demonstration copy, and it sounds incredible. Big Bad John, Smoke That Cigarette. That's been covered so many times. I mean, in the 70s, Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen. 16 Tons. He had the big hit with 16 Tons. So there's overlap here on both these records. So gospel country, pop country. What do you call this country? Kind of help me out, Headley. What do you call this country? those pop singles, kind of like Lauren Green with his song Ringo. He lay face down on the desert sand, clutching a 6-gun in his hand. From up top I thought he was dead, but under his heart was an ounce of lead. Ringo. Very much like Big Bad John, that song. Lauren Green from Bonanza. How do I know all this shit? God, my mind's a sieve there, no? Okay, a favorite country repress you own. Well, this was kind of easy for me. This was the very first Buck Owens record, 1961, I believe. Sort of the creator of the whole Bakersfield sound, and then Merle Haggard also kind of joined in. But great records, great, all his stuff. Buck obviously, was he on Hee Haw, or Buck Owens and the Buckaroos. If you want to Google some cool shit, Google some. There's some on YouTube. Some good, him playing his was it Country Gentleman guitar, I guess. His picking is unbelievable. Seriously, this ain't stuff to laugh and scoff at. But isn't that a great cover? Great painting. Country Ballads by one of America's top singers, Buck Owens. I believe this is his first record from 1961, as I said. The whole California, San Joaquin Valley sound. Great thing. Anyway, that's it. Great country music. Check any of these out. I think if you dive in, it's a great genre with a lot of subgenres, just like jazz, just like rock and roll, just like everything else. Marty Stewart. That's when I bought the shirt when I saw him here in Seattle 4 years ago. Oh my God, 5 years ago maybe. So, Headley, thank you. Mazzy loves you, and we'll see you next time.